Assassin's Creed Valhalla bears a heavy responsibility this fall, maybe more so than any Assassin's Creed in recent memory. That's because the new console lineups are quite weak, and it's third-party titles that will in fact carry the enthusiasm and the hype for most early adopters. It's been 2 years since Odyssey, a game that was received very well. Does Assassin's Creed Valhalla do enough to be worth your purchase this fall? The short answer is yes, but the long answer is a bit more complicated. What's going on, everybody? It's GhostRobo. Big thanks to Ubisoft for inviting me to check the game out. I got to play many hours of their new Viking adventure, which looks really pretty. I played on PC. It's super fun to do these remote events. You sit at home and you get to play the game, and it's very cool. And the foliage and the game looks nice. I gotta say that the different colors, the different seasons, the way that they set up the more expansive areas is remarkable. My favorite thing about the game thus far is the way that they have these organic environments just beastin'. The skyboxes, the way the light hits, it's fantastic, and I cannot wait to play it on Series X and PlayStation 5. Make sure to smash that like button if you enjoy the video and are pumped for Assassin's Creed. I mean, I know a lot of people are. They have taken a more slow and steady approach to the franchise after rushing it down our throats year after year. But I will say, and I gotta be honest with you, that I was disappointed to see that Assassin's Creed Valhalla, at least based on my preview, does not really change things up all that much from Assassin's Creed Odyssey. There is a heavier emphasis on skill trees, which oddly remind me of Final Fantasy X's sphere grid system, combined with Skyrim's celestial upgrade paths, and I like that a lot. Plus, they've brought back a little bit more of the stealth and sneaking than what we saw last time around in the Greek game. But for the most part, this is Assassin's Creed, exactly as it's been the last two entries, this time swapped with Vikings. Now, for a lot of you, that'll be a good thing. I think people were completely enamored with Odyssey and the way that the combat sped up and added a whole bunch of different special moves and kind of got a little bit more arcadey even, I would say. But for me, as an OG fan of this franchise, as someone that loved Assassin's Creed 2 and even really appreciated Assassin's Creed 1, it's not the same game that it once was. And that is fine, and that is fair, and it definitely shouldn't be identical to what it was at its origins. But I do wish that this game was more about being a super cool, sneaky, stealth, ninja-type assassin than it was about partaking in massive scale battles and absolutely eviscerating foes with spears and spikes and swords. Now, you can swap from girl to guy instantly, which I think is interesting, and they are doing their best to tell a tale that will be relatable and interesting to you. The bow and arrow plays a major part as you take out enemies and animals, and you know, there's a little bit of different nuances that obviously are changed and improved, and I think all in all the game plays really well. But in 2020, I just feel like it's a homogenized open world game with a ton to do on the map. And for me, I would love to see a little bit more set-piece grandeur, a little bit more directed focus, and maybe a little bit more of an advanced experience. But alas, this is a cross-gen title, and so it truly isn't the first PS5 and Series X Assassin's Creed. This game will mainly sell and runs just fine on the older consoles and PC, and that was what it was built for. In fact, Ubisoft in general has seen a major transition that has yet to reveal itself, because a while back they decided to change up their executive team and shift course after some games didn't perform as well as they wanted. So I firmly believe that Assassin's Creed Next Edition, whatever game comes either in 2021 or 2022, will truly be a different Assassin's Creed. But as of right now, this game basically completes the Egypt, Greek, Viking trilogy, and they all feel very similar. Will this end up being the best of the bunch? It could be, and I did enjoy my time. Like, it's fun to get in and you kind of can just roll through the missions. There wasn't a lot of challenge. I will say that it's pretty easy to slice and dice your way through, and that is something that I missed from the earlier Assassin's Creeds, where I felt like Altair and co. were a bit more vulnerable. They had to be a little bit more perfect. When the combat was more Batman-esque and rhythmic, maybe it was repetitive, but I felt like you could get into a really nice flow, and you had to get into a flow if you're going to survive and succeed. And tackling and taking on 4, 5, 6 enemies was an extreme danger and one that you wanted to avoid at almost any cost. Now we've got these massive raids and massive battles, which will appeal to a lot of you. The scope and scale of this world is impressive. You'll be boating around, horsing around, running around. You have a homestead, which is basically your hub base where you can build new buildings and add all sorts of upgrades, and that's where you'll grab tattoos and talk to your friends and fast travel. But to me, that's not what Assassin's Creed has been, or at least how it started, and I think that the nugget of foundation has been a bit lost and mucked up along the way. You'll notice here I am stealthing around, and they have reintegrated some of the crowd mechanics that a lot of fans were clamoring for. But at the end of the day, I don't know if it's that there's just too many games that have adopted a similar vibe, or that I've played every single one of these, but it does feel very much like MOTS. More of the same. And that's, again, not a bad thing, and in fact, I think that most people will appreciate that. But as I crawled around these camps and I tried to suss out some secrets and details and grabbed my XP and upgraded my special abilities, you can see I've got 4 on my melee and 4 on my bow. They're fun to use. You can throw together some epic combos. I love that you can jump in the air like a freaking Super Saiyan and slam down with the power of 1,000 Norse gods. You also can throw multiple axes, shoot multiple arrows, bum rush off of cliffs, all the good sort of things that you came to know and love from Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but now reworked for the Viking ilk. There are boss battles that feel a bit like a basic Dark Souls type encounter, dodge, dodge, attack, dodge, dodge, attack, and those are decent, but again, they feel kind of par for the course. And it's interesting to me because Ubisoft is releasing Watch Dogs Legion, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and Immortals Phoenix Rising all 1 month after another. And these games all bear similarities to each other. They all feel like they were cut from the same cloth. Obviously, different takes, different twists. You know, Watch Dogs Legion has you able to take control of any character, a futuristic setting, you know, over there in London, and really kind of accomplishing these more techie type tasks. Assassin's Creed being the historic game that places a lot of value on lore and on character and on scale and scope, and then Immortals being like Breath of the Wild 1.5 with a much more God of War combo-driven attack system, quick movement around a massive environment, and utilizing interesting upgrades and crafting to carry you forth. But you can see how these games all bear similarities. I will say, one of my favorite pieces of the Assassin's Creed franchise is the way they integrate the modern day, the Animus, and I didn't get to see any of that in my demo. So there is a sliver of hope for me that that will be super impressive this time around. It has fallen short, I feel. In the last 4 or 5 games, I missed the era of Desmond doing work against Abstergo and really like big, massive plots. But maybe they have something hidden here. You know, when you go and preview a game, you get to see a certain chunk. I didn't start from the beginning. I was dropped into a set point and got to play for a while. So I don't really know the setup. I don't really know the modern day. But apparently there's going to be a good chunk of it, and apparently you'll be going to some pretty cool locations and experiencing some pretty cool things. I think one of the best aspects of Odyssey was how heavily it delved into the mythology of the Greek people and of the Greek place, and I hope that they do similar things, and I'm sure that they will. And I imagine that some of those missions will be the most exciting, even though they're over the top and a lot more fantastical than historic. They will definitely be the ones, I think, that you remember. And hopefully remember things like this, these gorgeous flower fields. The draw distance is incredible. When you fly high above the sky with your bird friend, it does look pretty darn nifty. I just feel like it is the culmination of a generation rather than the start of something new. Here, the leveling up upgrade system, you know, you pick these different paths, and as you progress forward, it reveals central abilities. So you grab the nodes that modify your stats with a little percentage boost, and then once you reach the center, you get an actual new ability, which I think is a really smart, cool system. And it's one that will encourage you to progress in unique ways and hopefully create a different kind of character than your buddy. Because in the past, we've seen upgrades where it's like, oh, you know exactly what's there, you kind of can fill everything out, and I don't know, maybe there's enough points for you if you do obsess over the map screen and the quest log. You can kind of grab in every single direction, but I hope that they make you make some choices, and I hope that our characters will end up feeling and playing a bit different with some of their abilities. Let me know what you think of Assassin's Creed Valhalla in the comments down below. Are you excited that it basically is the next game in the Origins Odyssey franchise, or do you wish with the onset of next gen we got something a bit different? I don't think it's fair to say that this game is disappointing because it truly is a cross-gen experience, but knowing that PS5 and Xbox Series X are here, I was hoping for a bit more. And unfortunately, across the board, it seems like that is how I'll be feeling, because in comparison to every generation I've lived through, which is just about all of them, this one feels the most lackluster. The focus is on old games performing well and upgrades to what we already know and love, but is there anything that's truly awe-inspiring that really sets the bar going forward? We haven't seen it yet. Demon's Souls looks great, but there's rumor that that will hit PS4 as well, rendering it a lot less exciting. Games look good. I'm sure ray tracing will be fantastic. 4K 60 sounds cool, but what game will set the tone and say, wow, this is when PS5 and Series X really became must-buy consoles? When will an exclusive arrive that defines the next generation and expands our idea of, say, what an open-world game can be? We saw things take major steps forward from the 360 PS3 genre to the Xbox One and PS4 genre. I remember being really impressed with how Assassin's Creed Origins ramped things up as we made that generational transition. This game does not do quite that, and I'm curious what game and what genre will make me feel like we really have arrived. Until that time, though, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Give me your take in the comments down below. Let me know if you want to see more AC Valhalla on the channel. It is coming out pretty darn soon, right around the time of the new consoles, and it'll be cool to play it over there and see how it looks. So like I said, the game is darn pretty. I did appreciate that quite mightily, and I love me some good, dense foliage. Love you guys as well. Thanks so much for being here. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay smart out there. Drink some hot chocolate, and until next time, everybody, I love you a lot. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and we will see you all later.